My name is Sam.
My name is Sergio.
Today we will be discussing electrolysis.
You're probably wondering what electrolysis is and why it's important.
Well, electrolysis is the process in which electric currents flow through liquids and cause various changes to occur to the substance's molecular makeup or causing a chemical change.
This process can be used for various industrial purposes, usually involving metals.
So, let's get started. Electrolysis happens when there is a liquid that is very conductive and two highly conductive substances are introduced. Then power is applied to activate the process. One of the leads is known as the anode, which is the positive lead, and the other is the cathode that has a negative charge. The two leads are known as the electrodes. The anode attracts all of the anions, and the cathode attracts the cations. These are essentially named for the ions existing in the liquid being utilized. The polarity of the electrodes can be determined one of two ways. One is by looking at the polarity of the battery and determining which one is attached to the ground and which one is attached to the power leads of the battery. The second way is to see which electrode has the most amount of bubbles surrounding it. The electrode with the most bubbles is the anode, and the electrode with fewer bubbles is the cathode. Taking a quick field trip down to the laboratory to see electrolysis in action. Okay, so we have a few things prepared to be able to visually represent electrolysis. So first we have our cup of water, which is the liquid that will be electrolysis sized. Then we have the salt shaker, which is being used to increase the conductivity of the water. There is a fully charged 24 volt 2 amp battery, which will be our power source to activate the electrolysis. And then we have this little contraption here, which will hook up to the battery and go into the water to be the electrodes. Now, first, salt is added to the water. And mixed up, which is important for the overall success of this experiment. And then we plop that in our water. You see the anode and cathode are in the water. And then we hook the leads up to our battery here and duct tape this down so it stays put. So we'll be right back.
2,000 years later.
Okay, and we're back. So this little contraption here was attached with duct tape, and it was connected with the battery, as well as a small switch was added for effect. So go in on here, turn it on, and you can see the bubbles forming there and how all of the ions are going to the cathode here. At the top, there's bubbles forming, which is the hydrogen separating from the oxygen, which is our chemical change here.
So now we know how electrolysis works, but why does that matter? What is electrolysis actually used to do? Well, believe it or not, electrolysis has dozens of applications and contributes to creating a better society every day. For example, electrolysis is used in forensic science when developing fingerprints. It can be used to produce a substance that can make fingerprints on objects more visible.
It's a complex that we can then develop at a later point in time.
It can also be used in the oil and petroleum industry to purify oil. It's used to remove the sulfur from hydrocarbon liquids, which helps to make the oil ready to use on machines. Boy, I sure am thirsty from all this talking. Jesus. It's so much water. And one more thing. Electrolysis can be used to preserve ancient artifacts too. It can be used to clean ancient metal objects like swords or tools, and it can be used to clean the corrosion off the object.
So there we have it, folks. That's electrolysis.
I sure hope you learned something today.
Electrolysis is a process in which a chemical change can occur due to electrostimulus.
And it has tons of industrial purposes, including forensic science, water treatment, and purifying oil.
Well, I think that's just about does it for today.
And remember,
It's electric.
Boogie, woogie,